This is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about improving your product, your game, during your Kickstarter campaign. I've talked about this a little bit in the past in terms of stretch goals, which are a great way to add new components and mechanisms and pieces and better pieces to your game. But the other side of this is to actively engage with backers to hear their feedback and their thoughts on the game itself. Both mechanically to a certain extent, although you probably want to have most or all blind playtesting finished before you launch your Kickstarter campaign. This is more in terms of the final composition of the product. Throughout all of my campaigns, I tried to listen to backer ideas without automatically saying no, even though in my head, many times I was often thinking, no, that won't work. And I thought that because maybe it won't work because it'll add too much to the price of the game. Maybe it won't work because it means that it would drastically impact the schedule for the game itself. And also, sometimes one backer might have an idea that they like, but that doesn't mean that all other 200, 500, 5,000 backers like that same idea. Sometimes the vocal minority really may not represent the interest of all the other backers who have already bought into a certain version of the product. However, there are a few techniques that I'd recommend to help you keep an open mind to improving the product while still respecting backers and keeping them engaged. A few of these things are, if someone posts an idea, often you can just thank them for the idea. You don't even have to say anything else. You can just say, hey, thanks for that idea. That's really cool. You don't have to go into some big explanation. If they continue to pursue the idea, a few things that you can do, especially if you know that it won't work or you have strong hesitations about it, are you can state the facts. I always like to state the facts. So if someone says, hey, I wish you could make the box all foil, like the entire box should be in foil, then you might say, okay, thank you for your idea. The cost to do that would be this. And that way the backer can see, okay, that's not just something that you can do for free, that there is an actual specific cost to this, which backers don't always think about. You're thinking about it as the creator, but backers aren't always thinking about that. And just put that information out there. Or you might say, this is really going to slow down my graphic designer who's very busy right now, and that might impact the schedule, or that might mean that we'll go to print a little bit later than we would already. Also, you can return it to them, and you can go back to them with a question and say, how do you envision this working? And you can guide them through it a little bit. You can try to show them the steps that have to go through to make the change they're proposing and ask them questions about it. And 99% of the time, this will mean that that person will either come to the conclusion that their idea won't work, or other backers will chime in and say that that doesn't work. Or in a very small percentage of the time, other backers might chime in and say, hey, that's actually pretty cool. That might work. Let's poll everyone to see if that's something that the majority of backers are actually interested in. Or it might be an instance where it might be a little change that you don't actually need to poll everybody for. And as the backer discusses how they envision this thing working, it might actually occur to you that it is a better idea. If you've really thought through your project in advance, these instances will be very rare, but they're kind of miraculous when they happen because it means that this engagement that you've enabled with backers has actually made the product, the game, better for everyone. And that's an amazing situation. Yeah, those are my thoughts. There's a bunch of other thoughts on my blog in one of the sections about engaging backers. And if you have any questions there, I'm happy to answer them. Thanks.